listening to Marvel Talk with JT. And here's your host, JT.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Marvel Talk with JT. I am your host, JT, and this episode, if you didn't read the title and you just clicked play, first off, thank you so much for tuning in. But we are going to be talking all about Thunderbolts. We will be getting into spoilers, my thoughts, and so many other people's thoughts on the movie. It's a good movie. That's what I'm going to start off with by saying. What I will say is how we led up to this. If you listen to my previous episode, I gave a little short preview on some of the characters that were involved, some of my thoughts, and just kind of showed us where each character was or is at in their life before the movie. It's been about a week since the release, and I'm ready to talk about it. I'm really excited to tell you guys how I feel and let you understand and hear what so many other people thought, because I asked a lot of people to send in their thoughts. Some sent via text, some sent via voicemail. So we're going to hear people on this podcast, which I think is awesome, and I'm going to give their thoughts and opinions. But what all happened on the night of the premiere for Thunderbolts? Well, me and a couple other friends, a big group of us, we normally go see these movies on premiere night. So the movie released May 2nd of 2025. We went and saw it May 1st. It was the IMAX that we have here, the Paradiso from Malco. They were having a quote-unquote fan event, and I was like, oh, we always get fan events, so I wonder what kind of thing we'll get from this. We got a keychain, really cool keychain. It has the Thunderbolts asterisk by it. So it was really cool to see, really cool to have. It's hanging up in my car as we speak. So that was awesome. So my group got together. We all sat in IMAX. We watched the entire film. We got together afterwards, talked about it. Same old stuff as every other Marvel movie that we normally go see. The difference between this movie and the other movies is that I think all of us were really excited for it. And I think that was done by the marketing team for Marvel Studios, because they, leading up to the movie, and even after the movie, a week later, the marketing team is just on it. Nailing the head, and it's awesome. And it's awesome to see. It felt like the old Marvel, when you used to have the press junkets and you used to have like the interviews and they would, ask silly questions and just the cast would be silly together. That's what this movie felt like when it was time to do, the press and stuff. So the movie Thunderbolts, asterisk. You gotta say that at the end. You gotta put that asterisk at the end. Thunderbolts is a great movie. I loved it. We get this misfit of, characters coming together. Unfortunately, coming together for the sole purpose of one character, Valentina, and they all try to kill each other. And we all kind of knew that. They're all mercenaries. They're all assassins in their own way. They all come together to say, hey, we know why this is here. But then they have a straggler, I should say, by the name of Bob Reynolds. And Bob becomes a huge part of this movie as he becomes Sentry / the Void. And essentially the Void is your deepest and darkest memories that will cause so much pain to you. And that makes sense. You step into the Void and you go back to all these memories that are just so dark, so just when you try to lock them up in the back of your back of your mind. So we get this ragtag, team together. We have Yelena Belova, we have Ghost, we have John Walker, we have Red Guardian, we have Bucky, aka Winter Soldier, and then you had Taskmaster. So when I get into spoilers, I'll talk about that then. So you have this team going to stop Val, essentially. Val has kind of, you know, she persuaded Bob the Sentry to be on her side. And then Bob's like, why should you be in charge of me? Why should I listen to you? And here comes the void. And the whole city of New York is just in this dark, dusty, black, just abyss. And everyone's getting voided from left to right. They're turning into shadows. You see their shadows on the ground. It's insane. But what happens is this new team, the Thunderbolts, come together and they stop the void by basically telling Bob, who is in the void, like, hey, you're not alone. We got it. We got you. You're a team. We're a team. We got this. And then at the end, it is revealed why the asterisk is there. Why that little part that everybody has been, clamoring at as they've been asking for it. Why is this here? What does this mean? Because we've never seen it. We know it means something, but we've never seen it. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the movie. Obviously, you have these characters come together and explain what their trauma is, what their backstory is. And I think that's one thing that I loved about this movie is how, easy it was for, if you haven't seen anything, if you haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know what John Walker has been doing because of this lead up. So it's really cool. I love that about the movie, especially like characters like U.S. Agent John Walker and Ghost Ava. You get to know what they've been doing. We've seen Yelena in earlier projects. We've seen Red Guardian earlier projects, but it's been a while since we saw Valentina. It's been a while since we saw Ava, Ghost. But yeah, it's a great movie. I love the team up movie. I said this in my preview episode, and I kind of agree with it now that I'm saying it out loud again. After seeing it twice now, this movie, you do get that first Avengers group up movie feel. You also get this Guardians-esque feel to it, but it's different in a way that I've never seen before. I can't really explain it into words, because this movie just made me feel like it just made me feel that nostalgic vibes that the previous phases had given me, and that's what I was looking for. It is it's a group coming together to stop an enemy or to stop the bad thing. And that's awesome. That's all you need. You don't need fancy, VX effects. You don't need all these high flyers. You just need a group that has a troubled past, and they come together and they learn how to work as a team. And you still see that in the 2 post-credit scenes that we get. You still see them kind of going together and gelling. So it's the 2 post-credit scenes. One, obviously, is a funny haha, and the second one is the one that really sticks. So without any further ado, let's get into what I thought. I love this movie. I've said it. Y'all have heard it. I think this movie has potential to be a top 5 MCU movie for me. In the multiverse saga, it's definitely in the top 3. I've seen it twice. I saw it on Thursday premiere night and then Saturday again. I would say if you have an IMAX, go see it in IMAX. If not, that's totally fine. But this movie does do something that a lot of the other multiverse saga movies haven't, and that is it brings you back to that vibe of the first couple phases where it's a group coming together. You feel that camaraderie building. You see this enemy that they have to stop it, and they ended up doing that. And I loved it. I thought it was great. But let's go ahead and talk about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to hear it, go ahead and click away, go see it, and come back. But let's go ahead and get into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're gonna start at the beginning. Basically, Yelena is kind of talking about how she kind of feels this emptiness, this darkness in her, and so she's trying to do more. She wants to do more good. She wants to have her face out there, kind of what her sister did, Natasha, but she's not her sister. So Valentina is trying to cover up some of her wrongdoings. She's basically eliminating all of her past because she's being impeached on her job, and she's been doing this human study at Ox, which is the program she runs, and she's starting up the Sentry program, and basically she gives these people a serum, and they either die or they make it out alive. And that's what happened to Bob Reynolds, is he made it out alive and he becomes Sentry Void slash Void. So Valentina is telling her assistant Mel, hey, cut the loose ends, make them all basically kill each other. So Yelena is sent to kill Ghost. Ghost is sent to kill Taskmaster. Taskmaster is sent to kill John Walker. And John Walker is sent to kill Yelena. So you see the circle effect that's going on. Obviously, they all fight in this epic battle at the beginning, which I loved. I thought it was awesome. Some of the moves and the choreography there is just some of the best. And talked about it in the preview, and I got it wrong. R.I.P. Taskmaster, because she's the only one that dies in this fight. Ghost phases through her and just pow, right in the head. And then all of a sudden the door's shut. Bob is introduced to the players at hand, and Yelena is now saying, "Hey, we got to get out of here." But Val is about to burn them alive, and with all the other evidence. They eventually get out, and they're now on the run, but not before Bob's powers kick in, and Val has taken Bob in to basically persuade him into being her, her lackey, her sentry, and which he does agree at first with it. But Yelena, Ghost, Taskmaster, and then Red Guardian, who now is working for a his own limo company, I should say. They're all on the run and trying to get away, trying to flee, to hide. And then Bucky, Winter Soldier, comes, finds them. They form the group, the Thunderbolts, because the name Thunderbolts is Yelena's soccer team when she was younger that won 0 games and even had a girl poop in the middle of the field. That's what they say in the movie. So the group is kind of like that loser mentality. You don't win ever, but you're the Thunderbolts. And so there's the name of the team, the Thunderbolts, is because they have this loser mentality. They never win, but they're a team. Now you're probably asking, okay, well, what else happens? Well, they see Bob as the Sentry now, and they they essentially fight to no ends, and the Sentry just wipes them clean without even flinching. Like he's going like 2% maybe. And after they flee and say we need to regroup, Yelena's like, no, we lost. There's no regrouping. We suck. We're done. And all the other guys are like, no, we need to regroup and find out a way how to beat this. And as they're talking about this, Bob Sentry, I'm going to start calling him Sentry because Bob is just a funny name, but the Sentry is more heroic, more stoic. So the Sentry kind of turns on Val and says, like, why should I take orders from you? A god. Why should a god take orders from you? And she's like, well, you're kind of putting that god name out there a little bit too much. And he's like, well, that's what you called me. You said I have all the powers of an Avenger the Avengers team put into one, and a god is on the Avengers team. So she kind of did that to herself. So they fight, and Sentry has a kill switch in the back of his head, and Val uses it, but when he quote unquote dies or gets paralyzed or whatever, and she escapes. Here comes the void. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the void is a emptiness, a dark, empty space where if you get voided, you don't die. You just go into this place where you have to relive over and over and over again your darkest memories. Yelena gets to see her first mission in the Red Room where she has a young girl killed. She also sees herself in the Red Room, basically watching all these other girls get whipped for not completing a task. She sees herself as a deadbeat alcoholic person, just on meds and on booze, and it's sad to see. And so you get voided, you go into these dark memories. Well, in these memories, Yelena finds Bob, and he is going through his own stuff because his past was he was a meth addict trying to get better, and he finds this guy who says, "Hey, I have this drug that can help you become better," which ends up being the Century program, and so he takes this and obviously goes on his way and becomes the Century, but his younger self witnessed his dad beating on his mom and his mom being, a no good and just taking the beating, and just his family life was not good. And that's where we are seeing, Yelena and Bob have this conversation. But we end the movie with Yelena and the team, the rest of the Thunderbolts, in the, the hospital or the lab where Sentry has already started his path, or the Void, I should say, started his path of voiding people. And you have this awesome conversation between the Void and Bob Reynolds, and and the Void's basically just like gaslighting him, saying like, "You're no good. You're you don't belong here. They're not your friends. They're just here, and then they'll get rid of you," and all this other stuff. And Bob is just punching at the Void, just letting him have it. But that's what the Void wants. He wants him to get into that rage, get into that anger. And Yelena and all them stop Bob from punching the Void, because they're like, "Hey, we love you. You are our family now. Like, you are not alone." And you really feel that. And that's one thing I love about this movie, is that you feel those moments, those, sympathetic moments, those emotional beats. You feel them 100%. I felt them in some moments where I was like, I know where that feels like. I've been there before. And it's just sad. Like, it's sad because they're going through it. Well, the end of the movie happens. Bob comes out of the Void. And when Bob is not the Void anymore, he loses all of his memory of what happened. So he doesn't know what happened. He's like, "Whoa, what happened in New York? Why is it crushed? What's going on?" Well, when Val kind of sneakily walks her way and says, "I need help me," she's playing the victim here. The rest of the Thunderbolts chase her, and when she goes through this tarp, this concealed area, out is a bunch of paparazzi, a bunch of news stations, and Val is saying, like, "Here is the team that I've been assembling secretly to help humanity, because the other Avengers are no longer going to be here, and I want you to be introduced to the new Avengers." And there is the asterisk. Thunderbolts was the title of the movie, but they are really known as the new Avengers. Now, I talked about it earlier, but the marketing for after the movie, they are now posting pictures, posting posters, having movies change their signage, and they're now marketing as the new Avengers. And I think that is a marketing genius idea. I love it. And movies need to do that more often, but I get why they don't. But for this movie, people correctly guessed that it was either going to be the Dark Avengers or the New Avengers. And I like they did the New Avengers. So I've already given my thoughts. I love the movie. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's great. I think everybody needs to see this movie. It is a top tier MCU movie, in my opinion. And I'm excited for you guys to hear what the rest of my friends said. So let's go ahead and start with that, and let's see what they have to say. So let's go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give them their credit because all these people are fantastic and I love every single one of these people that sent in their stuff. But I'm going to give them their credit and then read you what they say. So first up, we have my good friend Connor Dunning. He says, I think my main thoughts are it felt like a return to form for the grounded take we've seen from Marvel in the past. A smaller and more personal story with a couple of powerhouse performances, most notably Florence Pugh and David Harbour. Their moment together as father and daughter was probably my favorite moment of the movie. I also thought the way they handled mental health was nuanced and well thought out. I understand why some people may not like it there not being a true bad guy or a huge fight, but I thought the emotional punch the movie threw made up for it. I loved it. I want more from that group. I laughed a good bit and teared up a few times. We absolutely love to see our heroes saving civilians too. We don't need these massive set pieces and moments in a superhero movie for them to be successful. Sometimes all we need is a personal, real, and raw story with compelling characters. Awesome, Connor. I agree 100% with what you said. It felt that moment with Florence Pugh and David Harbour, Yelena and Red Guardian just talking it out, and her saying, Daddy, I feel alone. It broke me. It broke Madison. It broke everyone that I was with. So thank you, Connor. I really do appreciate it. Next up is my good friend Steven, the incredible artist that he is. He did the poster for my podcast, so shout out to Steven. Y'all go check him out. He is awesome. But Steven had to say, Thunderbolts was one of my most anticipated films when it was announced. It has a solid cast filled with people who feel like they are out of place, not knowing that they are in the perfect situation to make things better, not only for themselves, but everyone around them. I was genuinely surprised with how great the chemistry was between the cast. It flowed so well and it didn't feel off. Lewis Pullman was incredible, in all caps, as Bob. As a fan of the 2009 Dark Avengers run, Sentry was my most anticipated character to see Marvel pull off from their comics in the silver screen. Marvel continues to shed light on difficult subjects like major depression and anxiety, showing everyone you aren't alone even when you feel like you can't escape your own head. There are always others who are going to be there to pull you out of the dark place, quite literally and metaphorically. Thunderbolts is a must-see MCU movie and easily a top 10 MCU film for me. 9.5 out of 10. Go see it. Again, I gotta agree. Having that mental health aspect, telling people that it is okay to be in this space, but also for them to understand that you aren't alone, it's incredible. And I'm so glad the MCU pulled it off with like just ease, I should say, because yes, it is a difficult situation. It's a difficult thing to talk about, but they did it. It's such a great job how they did it. So thank you, Stephen. I really do appreciate it. Next up, we have a gentleman who was just recently on the podcast talking about Daredevil Born Again. That is Alex. His YouTube channel is another Marvel guy. You can go check all of his stuff out. Alex says, Thunderbolts, a great trip and reminder for why we love the MCU. This movie is a blend of good action, a serious but heartwarming tone with funny moments, and a great job of mixing in the past, present, and future all at once. It brings back characters who never got their time to shine, like Ghost, and enhances and grows characters like Walker, and stars Florence Pugh as Yelena, and it lets every moment shine. The runtime was perfect in my opinion. A great creative third act. Just loved how it was made and how it finishes. It never lingers too long anywhere and finally gives us a team worth rooting for. I loved it. A 4 out of 5. Again, these guys are hitting all the points. The runtime was perfect. I thought it was great. I loved it. That third act, like you mentioned, was heartwarming. It had its moments and it felt perfect. So thank you, Alex. You're awesome. Next up, we have a good friend of mine and actually a guy who DMs it was my first D&D session, but a fun one at that. His name is Sean, and he very, poetically and very short and sweet, to the point, Florence Pugh is going to be the heart of the MCU for a while. She's amazing in that role, and the range she has for it is amazing. Sean, my good friend, I agree with you 100%. Florence Pugh has my heart, and she is going to be amazing in the future of the MCU. So thank you, Sean, for sending in your thoughts. Next up, I'm going to play some audio reviews from people that send in their thoughts. So first up, we're going to talk with Trevor and see what he has to say about Thunderbolts.
Here is my quick recap and thoughts on the Thunderbolts. It was very nice to catch up with characters like Alexei, Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and it was a very nice, brief catch up session with Taskmaster as well. Um, I think that overall, I really enjoyed this movie, which is weird because I am not a huge fan of one of the characters in this film. However, I decided to walk in with an open mind to the concept of these are the rejects that nobody else wanted. At least from what it feels like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You have a universe full of characters, and you take the ones that are the most broken and beaten down, and you put them in a room together. Yelena, who lost her sister, and kind of spirals from there. She tries to kill Hawkeye, realizes that it's not, that she was lied to and manipulated. You have John Walker, who they call the 2-second Captain America, or the dime store Captain America. And Alexei, who I would say is in the same situation as Yelena, because he was a foster parent to Natasha. And of course, Ghost, who we have not seen or heard from since Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is like 2018, 2019. So it was kind of nice to catch up with a lot of these characters. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Doomsday cast reveal spoiled this movie for me. Because when you have a film like this, and in the marketing, you have a character, you're advertising them as part of this team, and they have less than 2 minutes of screen time. And I think that we all knew that she wasn't going to make it out of this film. And I am, of course, talking about Taskmaster. That is a spoiler, but we've been predicting this online for, well, since the chair reveal. I'm going to try and keep this under 4 minutes, but overall, this film hit close to home for me because I've been where Yelena was mentally. And it shows that these people may be they may or may not be heroes, but they're still human. And overall, it showed that even superheroes can be vulnerable. And the overall message of this film to me was the world sucks, but you're not in it alone. You always have friends, even the unlikely ones. Because I never would have thought that I would see Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, Bucky, and Red Guardian in a movie together. Just putting that there. But, that is my thoughts on this. So, I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. So, see you later.
Thank you, Trevor, for sending in your thoughts and opinions on Thunderbolts. Next up, we have my good friend Terrell. So, Terrell, let's hear what you got to say.
So the Thunderbolts have hit the theaters now. And my thoughts and opinion on it is it was a good movie. You get to see the new Black Widow take lead and everything. And that was awesome to see her character growth. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the rest of the characters in this show. in the future of what Marvel has planned for the Thunderbolts districts, because there's definitely something there. The espionage of it wasn't so much the secret spy stuff, but more so the heroes or anti-heroes, if you will, trying to do what's right and trying to find their place in the world of all the things they've done wrong. If you haven't seen the Thunderbolts yet, you should get out there and see it because I enjoyed it. I know the guys enjoyed it, and I think you will too. Take care.
Thank you so much, Terrell, for sending in your thoughts and opinions. Next up, we have my good friend Jake, who went with us to see the movie. So, Jake, what you got?
Hey JT, just wanted to give you my thoughts on Thunderbolts. Overall, I thought the movie was pretty decent, and by decent I mean for like Marvel standards. I do feel that the runtime was just a little bit too much. Maybe you could have cut back 30 minutes or so. I really did enjoy the cast of Florence Pugh playing as Elena, David Harbour as Red Guardian, especially one of the highlights in the movie. And it's always good to see Bucky again. This is a movie that I've been looking forward to for a while now, and it's not amazing, but it was definitely something I needed to watch, and it was definitely worth a watch. And if I had to give it a final score, it'd probably be a 7.5 out of 10. As far as if I would watch it again, I would probably see it like on Disney Plus whenever it goes on there. But yeah, that's my review of it. I thoroughly enjoy it. I believe it is a must watch if you are an avid Marvel fan, and yeah, I'm very looking forward to seeing what the future of Marvel is, especially with Fantastic Four right around the corner. And that's about it.
You are absolutely right, Jake. Fantastic Four is the next big film that we have, and I cannot wait for that to release in July. Next up, we have my good friend Mike. So, Mike, take us home.
Thunderbolts takes the turn of phrase, we're in this together, and runs with it to rousing success. There's things for MCU fans to enjoy. There's things for the Marvel comic fans to enjoy. There's callbacks. There's references. There's bigger implications for the MCU as a whole in this singular movie, and I'm excited to see what turns out from it. I think that Yelena, Bucky, these are the people that we want to see on our screens more and more. Please give us more and more. We want to see more Thunderbolts. Thank you!
Thank you so much, Mike, for sending in your thoughts and opinions. And hey, shout out to all of my friends who sent in their thoughts. Guys, y'all are awesome and y'all make this so much easier for me. I love you guys. Again, y'all rock. But like every Marvel movie ends, we're going to end with the post-credit scenes. Like I mentioned, you heard some of my friends talk about it a little bit, but yeah, we get two post-credit scenes. Number one, Red Guardian was in the aisle looking at the Wheaties boxes next to a customer, someone who was shopping, and he jokingly was like, oh, look. And he was basically showing her that he was on the box with the new team. She could care less, and she puts it down on the ground and walks away, not buying the box of Wheaties. But the biggest post-credit scene comes in afterwards, and that was the team coming together, now known as the New Avengers, and talking about how Sam Wilson is filing for copyright and basically not on good terms with Bucky. It's going to be the old Avengers versus the new Avengers coming up. I can see it. And they get a distress signal from an outer space interdimensional notification. And they pop it up on the big screen, and you see a rocket flying through space. And the rocket turns, and it is the Fantastic Four. How awesome is that? Now, what is not answered in this post-credit scene is, was the Fantastic Four in the rocket? Were they coming to Earth, or was it a rocket to send to different universes by Reed saying, hey, there's life on here, you could probably inhabit this and live here if you would like? None of that was answered. We just see a rocket flying through the air in the 616 from the Fantastic Four, which, again, movie comes out in July 25th of 2025. I cannot wait for that movie. It's going to be a blast. But guys, that will do it for this. It's a longer episode, but these movie episodes are going to be like this because there's a lot to talk about, a lot of thoughts and opinions on them. So, again, I know I've said it enough, but thank you guys so much for sending in your thoughts and opinions. Y'all rock. I love you guys. Next up, we have Ironheart that comes out in June. So going to be taking a little bit of a break. So if you want to go back and listen to all of my Daredevil Born Again episodes, I break those down episode by episode. You can go listen to those. But thank you guys so much for listening to this Thunderbolts review. Y'all are awesome, and I'll see you next time.